Hi guys, it's Miss McGann. Today we're going to be dividing decimals. We'll do a little review with decimal operations with addition, subtraction, multiplication, and then we'll get into it. So here we're adding 3 and 2/10 plus 56 hundredths. So remember, when you add and subtract decimals, you need to line up the decimal points to make sure that all the numbers are in the right place value. So if we line it up vertically, which I find easiest to add, you would add from right to left. So starting with the smallest value, we have 6, 7, and then 3. So adding these numbers together, it would be 3.76 if we put them all in the right place value. Let's move on to the next step with subtraction. So we have 13 wholes minus 6.97. So when there is no decimal, we just always assume it's after the ones place, it's invisible, and we can put 0 placeholders in place of that. And to subtract here, remembering your subtraction options, you have to borrow to move it on. So we'll do a 2, which will make this a 10, and then that will become a 9, and then this would be a 10 in order to borrow to get to a number. So 10 minus 7 is 3, 9 minus 9 is 0, and then 2 minus 6, we can't do 2 minus 6, so we would borrow from that, and we would get a 6. So 13 minus 6.97 is 6.03, or 6 3/100. If you have any questions, go ahead and review some of those operations with subtraction and addition. We're going to move on to the next one. This is multiplication. So with multiplying, we don't necessarily have to have the decimals lined up. We just need to count the spaces after the decimal. So we have 1.434 times 5.9. And we'll multiply as usual and then count the decimal places to know where to put our decimal. So 4 times 9 is 36. Carry the 3. 9 times 3 is 27. Plus 3 is 30. Carry the 3. 4 times 9 is 36, plus 3 is 39, and then 1 times 9 is 9, plus 3 is 12. And then remember, when we're doing multiple digits, we would add a 0 as a placeholder, and then start our multiplication from the tens place over. So then 5 times 4 is 20, so we would carry the 2 in this case. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 is 21, carry the 2, and then 1 times 5 is 5, plus 2 is 7. So we'll add this up, 6, 0, 16, 4, 8, and then we count how many numbers are behind the decimal place to know from right to left how many spaces we're going to move our decimal in. So if we multiply 1.434 times 5.9, we'll get an answer of 8.4606. So our final answer would have our decimal 4 decimal spaces in, because we had 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers behind the decimal in the numbers that we multiplied by. Okay, now it's a little messy, but you can look through videos for multiplying decimals if you need some review on that. Today we are going to go into decimal division. I did want to kind of slow it down, talk through this a little bit more. With decimal division, you would divide as normal, like long division, but then in this place we will shoot our decimal up wherever it is in our dividend. So we see our 0 here. We're going to move it up to be right there. When we have a decimal divisor, we're actually going to have to move our decimal over to get it to be a whole number. We always want to divide by a whole number. So to move this decimal so it becomes 53 instead of 5.3, we'd also have to mirror that on the inside. So we'd move our decimal 1 over on the inside as well. And then that is where our decimal would be in our answer. So I'll go through this one and then this one. We have 20 and 8/100 divided by 8. 8 goes into 20. We can already skip that first one. 8 doesn't go into 2. So it goes into 22 times. multiply, subtract, bring down. 8 goes into 40 5 times. And even though we've ended up with a 0, that's sometimes how we've learned, that's how we know when we can stop dividing. We still have another number, so we have to bring that down. 8 goes into 8 one time. And now we have finished with nothing left over. So our final answer is 2.51, 2 and 51 hundredths. We just moved our decimal up where it was when we have a whole number, but when we have a decimal, remember we have to move the decimal over the same number of spaces, both inside and outside the decimal sign or the division sign. So now we have 53, we'll say, on the outside, and we've moved our decimal over here, change the place value. So 53 goes into 16 1 0 times, 16 0 times. 53 goes into 69 3 times, so that would be 159. Subtract. Probably should use a calculator to confirm this, but 53 goes into 108 2 times. That would be 106. And then bring it down to 1. 53 goes into 21 0 times. So now we're going to bring down our 2. That's what that looks like. And 53 goes into 112. I'm going to say 4 times. 53 times 12 is 4. Or 53 times 4 is 212. That's 0. So now we've ended with 0. Our final answer is 32.04. If we did not end with 0 and we've run out of digits to bring down, what we would do is we would add zeros into our divisor and bring it down until we can get a final answer. With decimals, we don't like to end in remainders. You know what that are. We do like to end with a final 0 to finish it out. And you can look for those examples in future videos. Thanks. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.